What up? It's your boy. We're back. It's day 2010, which I mainly do for my own reference. That's why I walked to go and stand next to my computer so I could read the day number. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Today is the start of a new week. We are rolling on into the week. We are being productive, and we've had a pretty good day today so far. Everyone went back to work today. Laura's feeling fine. She's just like got a little card thing that tells people what she's got. And we have today been doing some stuff. Obviously got in, I had to like do all the usual shenanigans, and I was picking up where I left off on the old this thing that's talking to a remote service and this little facade I'm building. I've got that all finished now. There was a couple of things where I wasn't aware of like the data type they were returning back, because it looks like it's a string, but yeah, it's a list of strings. But when it was weird. It was like, this thing is a string. It looks like in the XML, that's a fucking string. But when it gets serialized, it's actually a list of strings. It's just, out of every time I've seen it so far, it is only one string. Although there is a list of strings that it could return. It only ever seems to return one. And also, as far as I'm aware, this thing's unique, so there should only be one as well. But YOLO! So that caught me out. I had to change all my shizness. But basically now I've got my little facade that is able to talk to this remote service and translate it back into an object which is going to be able to be understood by the core behemoth program that we're making. And then that can then do its last bit. So I'm now like working this side of the fence instead of this side of the fence. As of tomorrow. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I sorted out my car's MOT, that's now planned, came home, sorted out my daily vlog, weekly vlog, whatever it is, for the weekend, and I'm now about to go through comments and stuff and do some other like remedial side tasks that I need to carry out rather than doing programming. Although Laura's not on the way back yet, so I'm probably going to be able to get some programming done regardless. And with that, we are ending my first day relatively unproductively. I've actually done very little programming today, about like 20 minutes-ish, because I've been organising shizness. I'm also quite tired. I think we've kind of screwed up our body clocks over the weekend, and like had too much of a lie-in and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not feeling up. I feel like if I stay up I won't be very productive tonight, and I woke up this morning, I was pretty bloody tired. So I think we need to hit the programming harder tomorrow. And get some work done then. So I'm going to whack my laptop on charge. Also, Graham wants to come out tonight, but Graham, it's 11:15. You can't come out at 11:15. You used to come out at like 9. That's a good time to come out, Graham. We open the cage door and try and make noise to wake you up, but you're not interested, love. Please, Jimmy, just let me out, please. Why are you being so mean to me? Why are you being so mean, caging me up like a goddamn animal? We're at work nice and early today. We're a good 2 or 3 minutes early. Today I am working on the piece of code that sits within the monolithic system that we have and talks to this separate service that I've created, which then talks to a third-party service through my facade thing. So yeah, that's what we're focusing on there. I'm also trying to find as much time as possible to work on that thing I was working on, which had a crazy cyclomatic complexity. Because I want to merge it in, and I want to merge it in because I want to do it before I go, because yesterday I handed in my notice. So, but more on that later. It's quite difficult to do cliffhangers when you do videos like this. It's quite easy when I used to do it every day, but it's harder now. I am quite good at doing surprises, aren't I? That was a bit out of left field, wasn't it? Not massively out of left field, however. I have turned down a couple of offers before I've picked the company that I'm moving to. The first major interview that I went to was on the 8th of December in a video called Whispered Simulations, as I just cheekily lie about how I spend half of my day. It was one of the things I was talking about the other day. Before I stopped doing daily vlogs, I spoke briefly about how doing daily vlogs means that I essentially have to lie to you, because I'm doing things that I obviously can't say most of the time. So for since kind of like mid-November, early November, I decided that I was going to leave where I currently am working. And I've basically spent that amount of time looking for the right place. I attempted to go back to the company that offered me a job before, because when I took the offer at the place where I currently am, I had two offers and I selected that offer for this place, and I turned down another offer. I attempted to go back to them, but they're not looking to hire at the moment. And also I was still under the clause of the recruiter, so they couldn't take me even if they wanted to. And then I slowly, very, very slowly sent my hook out and looked at a couple of places. I had an offer for somewhere who had two developers who'd been there for 15 years and wanted someone to come in and change everything. I'm like, I've heard all of that before. If you want me to do that, I want more money because I want you to value my opinions. This was that one from that day that I just said. And they were like, I think they're still advertising. So I turned them down because I said, I want confirmation that you will respect my decisions. And it would have been a good opportunity to completely re-architecture everything they had. And it'd be similar to the kind of role that Josh took when he moved jobs recently. Well, not recently, a while ago, fucking ages ago actually. But I knew they wouldn't. I was like, look, there's going to be a lot of changes, and they were like, well, that's our offer. And I'm like, okay, bye. So I've been very carefully looking to move, because I've been very conscious of the fact that I want to select somewhere that's right. Because I'm conscious of the fact that this place is going to be the place that I pick. This will be the last place before I do my own thing. This is my last resting ground, in theory, before I start my own company. The only reason I say in theory there is because potentially I don't do my own company, but that's my plan of attack. So I'm moving to a different company, which I know someone who works there because I used to work with him at my industry, or year in industry. Although that's kind of a coincidence, because I kind of got through the place and then realised he worked there. And it's moving back into my favourite area, .NET. I'm actually going to get experience doing front-end stuff. We're going to be building basically, what we're going to be doing is that company currently pays for a service. They want to replace that service with a service that they're building in-house, and they're working on a project to build that in-house using .NET Core, microservices architecture, all this fancy stuff that is nice and great because they're doing it's like greenfieldy from scratch. They're going to be building a web portal and all this kind of stuff using ASP.NET. So it's going to be the perfect opportunity to learn things that I want to learn. My main gripe with the place that I currently am is the fact that I'm unable to learn and experience things that are valuable in the industry. So, for example, when I was going through all of my interviews for various job roles, I realised that I never said anything about the current company that I'm at, because nothing's happened. What the problem is with the current company is they're currently working on this great big legacy system, which uses technology that's really old, in every single way, and the way they use that technology is also mostly wrong. For example, recently I've been building a SOAP. They wanted me to build a SOAP messenger that built the messages using fucking string manipulation instead of serialization. So they use old technologies and they use them incorrectly. And what they've essentially done is they hired, at the time, I thought this was a good thing when I picked them, they hired a lot of developers, a lot of graduate developers, because they've got a lot of work coming through and they need them. The downside to that is the fact that they actually don't really need a lot of graduate developers. They want a lot of monkeys that can just sit and type tasks. And it's really difficult to get enthused about that kind of work, where it's a case of you don't work in teams, you get given a thing to do, a bug to fix, you dive through the code and you fix the bug. I've genuinely really enjoyed working with everyone there. Everybody there is great, except for a select couple of people I've butted heads with. Not literally, but people who are very who are unwilling to change and are very aggressive about the fact that they're unwilling to see why what they're doing isn't great. But most of the time, like, I've really enjoyed like getting involved in code reviews and introducing new ways that people test things and teaching people how to do stuff like that, and then improving people's standards and stuff where I'm asked, and stopping bad standards where possible in code reviews. The only problem comes in the fact that I didn't feel like I was getting exposure to things that I need exposure to, and like building microservices and web-based technologies. And I wasn't building any other kind of skills apart from learning how to work with legacy code, which isn't transferable from company to company, because working with legacy code takes a certain amount of skill. As soon as you figured out how to do it, essentially all you're doing is learning domain knowledge in that specific company, and then when you want to move somewhere else you struggle. So I decided a while ago that I was going to start looking, but I wanted to look for somewhere proper, and I think I would have looked a lot earlier if it wasn't for that blip just before I graduated, and the prospect of me starting a company in the near to not so distant future. Although it isn't anywhere near, but you know what I mean. But I decided that it'd be better for me to move to somewhere that has like the perfect project. It's such a good project. And you know when you're in an interview and they're asking me the questions that the way they're asking the questions and the questions they're asking, I'm like, yes, you guys have your shit sorted out. I am interested. The one downside to this place is the commute. The commute is a little bit longer. And some of it will probably involve a bus having to go through a park and ride, but I'm hoping that like stint on a park and ride thing will enable me to pick up other things on the, like start writing blogs or things on the go on my Nexus instead of constantly doing nothing but work all the time. But that is the only downside. The job's better, the teamy stuff's better, the like modern technologies are better, the modern development standards are better, the like teamwork structure is better, the pay is better considerably. Like the one thing that was holding me back was the commute, and I can cycle there. This is why I'm looking into getting a bike to cycle with, and yeah, it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm super excited, and I've known since last Thursday. Last Thursday I booked the day off work to go to Birmingham. I didn't go to Birmingham, I went to a job interview, and the Friday, the day after that, well that day I knew I wanted it, the day after that they offered it me for more money than I originally requested. And I was like, okay. And I've been waiting for the contract came through this weekend and I signed it and handed it in yesterday. Well, not handed in my notice yesterday, so I'm now, at the beginning of March, going to be moving into a new role. And I'm super excited, and I know that some people don't necessarily think that's a good thing, but I do, so I don't really care. I'm actually contemplating whether or not I should tell you, whether I should just wait until March and then be like, lol. But no, so that's that, ladies and gentlemen. That's my surprise for this chunk of a video. Probably going to do today, tomorrow, 3-day video, this video. And this is going to be obviously the main feature. But I can't wait. The only downside, like I say, is the commute, and that therefore also impacts the amount of time that I get to work on my own project. But one of the key things that's holding me back from doing my own project isn't only the time. I'm getting enough time to do it, to program and work on it. In fact, I'm probably getting like more than I need to do it, or whatever. What I need to do it properly is experience in some of the areas that I want to get into, because I'm kind of learning it, but I've learned from university that the only way you really learn how to do things is by watching a company do it and watching how they structure it, and you can tell by them doing it whether or not it's good or bad, and then you can apply that to yourself. Whereas I was kind of just going to be stabbing in the dark at like microservices and things like that, Docker and all of this kind of stuff, and I'm going to get the opportunity to learn that from the ground up in .NET Core, which is exactly what I'm doing. That's going to be great. So I'm going to be gaining a lot for my project experience-wise, considerably. And then also, the other thing that's holding me back, as much as it's not about the money, is the money. Because at some point, I'm going to have enough money in the bank to go, alright, I'm happy to go on my own now for a little bit to start this company and try. And while I'm generating money now and I'm generating savings as things go up, the hike is considerable enough so that I'm going to be putting more money into the joint account. Laura's going to be putting less into the joint account so that we can both generate savings for a deposit on a house much faster. Even though there's additional cost in commuting, I'm then also going to be coming out we got a bonus over Christmas, quite a considerable bonus, of about 750 quid. And I figured it out, and basically I get that every month now. That's like the price hike that we've gone for. And that is extremely valuable. And anyone who says that they're not money driven can't turn that down. Honestly, I would have taken it for I would have demanded a little bit an increase on where I currently am to cover commuting costs. But then I asked for this much, and then they literally added basically another 10% onto it. So, pretty happy there. It's all good, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm basically saying is, I'm super happy about it. Can't wait for it to happen. I'm just trying to find the time now at work to finish the things that I've started. But yet also, finding it difficult to kind of... You know what I mean? I'm trying to do things to like the best of my ability as possible. But then I'm also like, but... I mean, I'm not going to have to deal with it, but no. So that's currently what I'm working on at the moment. I'm still holding myself to like my level of acceptance, which is a lot higher than the standard at work at the moment. It's probably actually going to come in line. The person that I'm with that worked at my old place and is now working at this new place is kind of my position, but he's like got a lot of the say in like how it's architecture and stuff. We all will, but he's been like architecting the system for the new project that I'm going to be joining. And he is one of the people that drove testing at my old place, and someone that kind of didn't inspire me, but I learnt most of my shit from. So, I mean, it's gonna be fucking great. But yeah, I am excited to say the least. But yeah, so what I'm most excited about is the project. Like, the project is the perfect project for me in every way. Like the experience that's on offer there that's going to be learnable by watching that project be built and be responsible for building it from the ground up, because it's a greenfield project. Although I think it technically starts in February, so it's going to have a month on the ground without me. Like, that is going to be so valuable, and because I have zero experience with web outside of building my own shitty websites, which never do very well or never get populated or anything like that, the only experience I really have is either with old stuff or very, very, very minor bug fixes in some slightly new stuff. Very minor. And I'm going to be able to get the opportunity to learn that now, and I'm fucking excited for it. So yeah, a bit of a curveball, ladies and gentlemen, as we like to do always on this channel. But I hope you guys are going to be around for the ride. It's going to be great. I'm genuinely super excited. And like I say, I was so selective over where I wanted to go, and I know for a fact that everything's going to be fine here. Whereas where I currently am now, I currently thought when I joined the place, I thought I was going to be on C++, and I was in Java. So there was that. And in the interview, I was saying things like, so how's your testing and stuff? And are you agile? They're like, yeah, we're like completely agile all the way through. Lie. How's your testing? Oh, it needs improvement. That is an understatement. And also, will you improve it? No. Okay, cool. No, there are a couple of things that... There are only a small select couple of things that really annoy me about where I currently am. And it's mainly the lack of experience that I'm gaining. But otherwise, the opportunity's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed being there and working with the people that I work with. It's my time to leave now. Otherwise, I feel like you'll get stuck. Because in a year's time, people are going to start asking me about my experience in Java, and they're going to stop giving a shit about all of the great experience I got a year and a half ago, and only care about this current place, and I'm going to be able to tell them nothing. So, yeah. Ironically though, now we've moved on to a new project, off of like the core project, Things are slightly better. Slightly, but not enough. So, but anyway, I'm going to get changed, and then I'm going to get out my laptop and carry on programming on my own project until Laura gets home. Although I think we might be heading to the doctor's to pick up some prescription stuff. I don't know. Otherwise, for dinner tonight, we've got beef and black bean. It's going to be delish. What can I call this video that kind of suggests what's going to happen in it, but also doesn't ruin the surprise? In other news, ladies and gentlemen, I have started resisting. I used to always take a chocolate bar. I still do take a chocolate bar in my lunchbox every single day. But now I've started not wanting it at lunch. And I'm like, oh man, this means I can stop eating a chocolate bar every day. That'll be good for me, right? It means I'm getting rid of my sweet tooth slowly. But no, it doesn't work because I just get home and now I want it. But maybe that's progress. Maybe I can just want it as later and later and later, and then as like it'll become after dinner, and then it won't be acceptable anymore. You know? Guys, I have seemingly like foobarred my time, my body clock, because it's 10:30 and I'm like tired. I'm gonna head to bed. I've managed to get 2.5 hours worth of programming done today. I got a little snippet in after dinner as well, but it's very strange. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've actually got like an aching pain in my eye as well, where I'm like, if I look too far, it aches. You know? I keep thinking it's going like bloodshot, but I don't think it is. All I know is I need to get back on it, man. I need to get back on staying up late. I mean, this week so far, it's Tuesday, I've only done 3 hours worth of programming, right? Only, not even that, 2 hours and 48 minutes of programming. And I'm on my second... Jesus. I've normally finished 7 hours by tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Right. We're going to wake up, we're going to be tired, we're going to be well rested. Maybe I'm biting off something that I don't know about. Who knows? We're well rested tomorrow though, and we're going to do it properly. We've also got gym tomorrow as well. I said that a lot, haven't I? It's Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm reheating some food here that I'm pretty confident is going to be inedible. I cooked the other week a paprika, it's called like paprika pork or something. It's a bit like a curry, but it's got paprika in it. And when we did it, like the last thing you do is put in like creme fraiche or cream or something, one of those. So we did it, and then we added the creme fraiche to like the frozen one. It wasn't frozen yet, but like in the plastic tub in here, it was in there, and then we just put the creme fraiche on top, and then like kind of half stirred it in. So now I feel like it's congealed, and I think this is going to be vile. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a frustrating day today because I've been working on stuff, and like I'm now trying to integrate with the rest of the system, and the rest of the system's like, you don't abide by this random rule. So basically now I have the most heinous of things where I'm getting the response back from the third party. Well no, there's basically, right, I've been told that like we're wedded to this thing where you have to pass over this object to my facade, and you have to return this object from the facade, even though those objects A, don't have all the information I need on them, and B, also have way more information than I need on them, if you know what I mean. And I can't change them. But on them, the one thing we care about is XML. Yeah, we store the XML response, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? So whatever the response is from the SOAP service, we store it on there, so that the main system can just fucking deserialize it whenever it wants. Happy birthday. Right? So I'm like, fuck that for a laugh. So now I have this thing in the middle. I basically have my good facade, and then I have a shit facade that sits next to it and talks to the good facade, which takes in this heinous object, takes off the one field on it that I want, passes it into the good facade. The good facade does everything it was doing, gets out the nice generic object that gets back. It then serializes that, puts it on another big, huge fucking object that's all set to null except for one thing that we need, returns that back out, just because we have to do it. And if someone turns around to me and says, hey, we should send back the object from the third party, not the in the middle object, I'll be like, why? Why? What is the point in having a third party behind a facade if you could just fucking instantiate whatever fucking objects it returns whenever you goddamn please? The whole idea of a facade means that you reference the facade so you don't have to reference a third party. And now we're allowing XML to go through, or now you want XML to be tunneled out so that you can fucking deserialize the bastard, which means you're referencing the third party. So I'm doing my in the middle object, that's being serialized onto this object and sent out, and I'm working on through it now. Also, I'm implementing this huge fucking interface, and I'm literally like throwing not implemented exceptions on everything that isn't implemented. Oh, it's driving me mad. Like, what's infuriating about it is, this thing is like a new thing. It's new. We can do it again from scratch better. But no, we're kneecapping the new thing because 10 years ago we wrote this shit thing. And now everything has to be shit. Oh, it's so frustrating. So fucking frustrating. Not like, oh I know, why don't we write this new thing so that it's compatible still, so that you can still call all the methods on it and all this nice stuff, and we'll have the new one and the old one working in tandem together like you will be able to do, because all I need to do is do this little magic inside the service thing on this side before we even talk to the facade. And then we can slowly improve all of the old ones. No, make more old ones. Keep shoveling more shit on top of the fucking pile, boys. That's been my day, shoveling shit. And then otherwise I've come home and I'm working on, in my program, the process of actively, like I've got everything individually, I've got all of my legs, and now I've got to make the program walk, and it's got to use each of the legs in turn in the right order and all of this kind of stuff, and I'm writing that bit. I have noticed that I can save myself a lot of grief if I now refactor some of my results objects. My results object at the moment takes like the original code and the changed code. The problem is that the original code is the full file, and the changed code is the full file, because that's what I'm using to create the changed versions. Basically, I'm rewriting the files. But the results, I don't want a huge file in the thing. Now, previously in the old project, I left it like that up until the very end, and then I converted all of my results objects into different results objects, which is stupid. So now I'm going to go through and add that onto the results thing here, so that the results can just be automatically generated from the mutations instead. So that's going to be grand. I'm going to do a little bit of that. Otherwise, though, I've got the I'm applying the changes, compiling the code. That's working fine. And what I'm currently doing is I'm kind of building this up, and then what's going to be quite difficult is managing the threads, because it's doing this all multi-threadedly, but it's not multi-threaded because I previously did this with a thread pool. Now it's all asynchronous. We don't have threads anymore. So I've got to figure out a way of figuring that shit out. So that's my plan. That's the good fun. Otherwise, I'm cooking dinner. Hopefully it's edible for Laura to come home and we can eat up, and then we're planning on going to the gym, but I'm not sure if I might put my foot down and see if Laura's well enough or not. I don't know, so we'll see. Hopefully, like I say, hopefully this food is, it looks fucking horrible though. That does not look appetizing, boys. The problem is, we don't have anything else, so hopefully it's better. Anyway, I've done like an hour of programming. I'm going to stay up late tonight and do programming instead of yeah. So I'm actually going to stay up late tonight. I've been going to bed too early recently. And it's time for bed, ladies and gentlemen. I have been staying up and fixing some stuff. I'm going through and refactoring some things that are relatively bad decisions that I've carried on. And like I've realised that basically what I'm doing is I'm just trying to like, not hack around, but I'm making compromises based on the fact that previously I haven't populated this thing properly. Yeah, I've had a problem. Basically my mutators were creating the contents of files, and I'm now going to make them create an actual class. which is going to store information that's actually going to be usable instead of me having to either pass in information from multiple different sources or calculate that information on the fly. This all comes because I was trying to figure out where/how to calculate specifically the changed part of the file, not the entire thing. And it makes much more sense for that to be done when the entire thing's generated rather than later by string manipulation and stuff. So I'm doing a semi-decent amount of refactoring. So that's what we're going to do in the next video that you're going to see. To create the helper class that's going to be doing this, so I can mock it out. I have just started because I'd had a semi-decent amount of time creating the DTO that's going to store these objects, that are going to store the information about the created by the mutators. I'm then going to refactor mutation details and the mutators specifically to use those things, and I'm going to change my mutation controller to accept these things instead of the shitty string thing that I was passing through instead. I've stayed up, but I wasn't particularly in a programming mood. So I've been in been more of a planning mood. I've also gone through and highlighted all of the things that I want to do. I've got a list of things that I want to do at some point. Once I've finished the project, I'm then going to go back through and fix it instead of waiting for things and/or forgetting about doing them, you know. So supporting SpecFlow is going to be one of them things. But I have just noted that I keep seeing blog posts about it, and I keep forgetting it exists, but C# 7 is going to be coming out soon. It's in the final testing stages on GitHub. So I went through and figured out all the features that I want to pull in, and I want to update my code to C# 7, and then pull in some swanky new features like inline declared out and ref variables. Fuck yeah. Also an improvement to tuples. There's a class I'm going to be making which is going to be using tuples instead of it's going to be returning tuples, and this thing is a really nice way of using tuples because essentially you can just return multiple things and it just treats it like multiple things instead of a tuple. That's going to be grand. Look at the way that C# 7 uses tuples. As a general rule of thumb, you shouldn't need them, but in this case it makes sense. Because what's the preferred way of returning two things from a method if you need to? Say you have a method that you put in the original file contents and the changed file contents, and you want to return the lines in both that were changed. Do you create an entire new object to store that information? Do you return it in a tuple? Do you use out parameters? What do you do? Do you use a struct? In version C# 7, you don't need to use a struct because tuples will do it instead. Oh man. But anyway, that's what we're going to do over the next couple of days, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a big video today. Also, I've been considering what I'm going to do with my holiday. We didn't go to the gym today. Laura is a little bit worse for wear on her medicines and stuff. So I was looking after her and stuff, making her feel better. I've been considering and figuring out what it is that I want to do with reference to my unused holiday. Previously, don't know if people know this, when you leave a job, if you haven't used your holiday, then you either get paid the holiday you would have used, but on a pro rata system, or you can take it. So I've got 3 days spare holiday left, and I'm thinking to myself, do I take the 3 days, or should I just get paid them after? And I'm like, but when I start my new job, I'm going to be deducted 4 days holiday, because I've already taken 1 day. I'm going to be deducted 4 days out of my normal brackets. I'm going to have between either 20 or 21, depending on how they round it. Probably it's going to be 20. So, and do I need the money to be paid? So should I just book off 3 days and have 3 solid hardcore programming days or 3 4-day weeks? And I'm thinking, yeah, YOLO, balls to the wall, book my holidays in. That's my plan. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's what's going to go down. I'm going to book off a couple of days. I'm going to have some programming days. But like how I said I was going to do that. I generally might do that in the future as well, but we'll see how that goes. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it's a little bit long, but I was rambling because I was telling you stuff. The weekend is going to be a fun weekend. Thursday and Friday aren't necessarily going to be fun, but we'll see. It feels like this has been a really fucking long week this week. Only Wednesday. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.